the shit on YouTube, I guess. So now, okay, so Shalom Yasha'Allah, it's the bro S, Habidu Shem Yohanan, and this is going to be a short lesson. This is going to be called, the video is going to be titled, Why I Failed the Math Class. Hopefully you'll understand why I said that after this video was done. I still plan for this video to be very, very quick. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get straight to the point. Let me mention this real quick and get to the point after that. The scripture talks about Satan's seat, and the scripture talks about not being ignorant of his devices. Okay, I want just two references real quick. So we're not ignorant of the devices of the Ha-Shaytan. Okay, we should not be, rather, if we are walking in the faith and the truth and the light of the Most High. Okay, when we are doing that, we ought not to be ignorant of his devices. Okay, for sake of defense and things of the such. Okay, defense against their spiritual attacks and all that shit. You know, you're supposed to be aware. So walking around this motherfucker like everything is all peachy and creamy. We ain't got no ops. Niggas ain't out here doing all types of witchcrafts and sorceries, and you know everything is love, peace, and hair grease. You a fool. Okay, you a fool, and you know you gonna fail. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish that on you, but you gonna fail, because the Most High did not, equip us with that such a docile, silly, you know what I'm saying, mind. It's like you walking around like you food. You know how that Damu say, you know what I'm saying? You food out here. You food. You walking around like everything is all peace, and you know we ain't got no enemies, and this is a happy-go-lucky time in the world. You want some 2/3 unelectable type shit. That's the type of shit you want. So we're not off that. If you're truly of the elect, if you're truly of the electable, rather, and if you're walking in the Most High's truth and in his faith, okay? Excuse me. So now, the other note that I mentioned was, okay, Satan's seat. The scripture talks about Satan's seat. Satan's seat is referring to Satan's position, the Ha-Shaytan's position, okay? He has quite a bit of positions in the world, okay? But most notably, based upon that scripture, that seat, that position is law enforcement. In the general sense, law enforcement. Okay, you have different facets of society. You've got the medical field, you have entertainment, you have sports, you have food, medicine, I guess that goes with the medical field. You got different facets of existence in society on this planet. Law enforcement, or rather of society. You got different facets of society on this planet, and law enforcement is one. Okay, civilization is one, and the Shaitan has corrupted and assimilated amongst that. So this is not to say we're against law enforcement. You know, I'm not against law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? I'm not at all. I am a law-abiding citizen. I respect law, particularly Torah law and all laws that coincide and associated with that. So we're not against law enforcement in that, in a general sense. We are against, and just noting what the scripture says, at least the way that I'm perceiving it, which is the truth. The Shaitan has corrupted law enforcement by assimilating amongst law enforcement to enforce his demonic agenda. Okay, so he has a demonic agenda of wickedness for this planet, to make this world as a wilderness, which I wanted to get to later, but I'm just going to get to that right now. Read about that in Isaiah 14, which many people pervert the shit out of what Isaiah 14 means. Long story short, without getting into detail, because there's some details you have to go over when you go over Isaiah 14. It was a proverb against, a saying against the king of, the ruling king at that time, the king of Babylon, okay? I believe that was Isaiah. Yeah, Isaiah. So the Most High, speaking through Isaiah, commanded him to speak a proverb against the ruling king at that time. And in that, he called him Lucifer, the light bearer, okay? Venus, son of the morning. That's what it means, son of the morning, star of the morning. The star of the morning outside of the sun is Venus, okay? Anyway, like I said, there's details to that. The point of the matter is that the king of the physical king that Isaiah seen, these people seen at that time, was called Lucifer. Okay, meaning that king was under influence and or possession of the Shaitan, or Shaitani plural, meaning Lucifer isn't quite Satan. You know what I'm saying? He is when you go into his history in the Bible, he is Satan because Satan jumped up in him. Okay, when you go into Genesis and was like, he called him the serpent. That's why he called that man that was in the garden, the serpent. He called him that because he had the serpent in him. He had a devil in him. He had a reptile in him. Okay, a dinosaur. If you want to get into that, okay. I'm not gonna get into that video. I'm already going off on the video, or going off on what I wanted to mention. But yeah, so that king was called Lucifer, which is alluding to possession and influence by satanic spirit. Okay, and the other part of that was when it was talking about Lucifer and everything like that, it mentioned that he made the world as a wilderness through this king. So the shaitan, the spirits, the demons, particularly Lucifer in this case, which he had another name called, just for sake of edification, Halio. I could have just broke a law by mentioning that just now. But anyway, the point of the matter is that that spirit was possessing a king, and through that possession of the vessel of that king, the earth was made into a wilderness. Now, this is really prophesying for later in the date, because all of that was happening then was really symbolic of a later time, which we are living in now. Okay, so the king of Babylon now is really referring to these Edomites. Okay, this is like the new Babylon. This is the new Babylon, rather, or the amalgamated Babylon. All right, so they're definitely possessed by demons. Okay, spirits, demons, the shaitan in plural. All right, so now, yeah, it said that they're gonna make the world as a wilderness. Making the world as a wilderness means making the world wild. Okay, how do you make the world wild? By removing law and civilization from it, blurring the lines between of what's righteous and what's not, what's good and what's bad, which I'm going to get into in this video. Okay, it's going to be very important to understand that. Okay, so starting with that, we're going to get into, after I just finished my points about not being ignorant of the devices of the shaitan, and understanding what the shaitan's seat and position is, being law enforcement. Now we're going to get into what the zodiac is. The zodiac means a circle of animals. Okay, a circle of animals, the zodiac. Each of the 12 signs are particularly signs of natures, of certain natures. Okay, certain natures are animalistic natures, carnal natures on the lower end. On the celestial end, these are natures of the stars, of, I guess you could say, angels. Okay, and yeah, so those are natures. Circle of animals. Zodiac means circle. Zodiac means circle of animals. Then we got sin. I want to get into sin. So we get into sin. We're gonna get into the definition of that. I'm about to read. Also vibration. This is gonna help us understand the concept of good and bad, and why these Edomites, this reptilian race of Edomites, induce so much sin and confusion on this planet. Okay, and ultimately that's going to make more sense of why we have the scripture prophesying so much doom amongst their race in particular, because of me answering what I just mentioned, okay, about them inducing sin on this planet. According to Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Then you go into the book of Malachi, I believe that's the 4th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Always get that confused, whether it's the 4th chapter in the 1st verse or the 1st chapter in the 4th verse, whatever. The book of Malachi speaks about the Edomites being called the border of wickedness, okay? Notably the wicked. There's many wicked of all races, of all nationalities, including Negroes, okay? According to so-called Hebrew Israelites, or so-called black people, which are Hebrew Israelite descendants, if it applies to them, genetically speaking. We're not talking about the tares and, you know, those who are not of Israel, not being of Israel. So now, what else was I getting into? So yeah, forgot my point real quick. But anyway, just get to it. So sin. Sin is the word for sin in Hebrew, or a word, one of the more notable words that describe sin in Hebrew, which I found to be the most accurate, is the word in Hebrew pronounced chata, okay? Chata. So we have, what's that, chet, you have the chet, and you have the ta, what's that word? I forgot how to say, I forgot anyway, chata for sin, okay, that's the word, chata. And then it means to miss or make error from the mark or the goal. Okay, this is very important. I want you to understand that. It's a very, very good definition, especially for what I'm about to explain. Very good definition. It's a perfect definition of what sin is. Okay, this is important for you to understand, because you got a lot of these you know, spiritual demons, and how Shorty say it. I be watching her profile sometimes. I think her name is called something Devon, Evolve, Demi Devon. She got like dreads or whatever. I like some of her videos, but she calls them the low conscious community, which I agree. You know, for the ones that it applies to, not all of them, but the low conscious community, they be saying, like, it's like you get people like that be trying to discredit the merit of Scripture, trying to discredit the merit of Scripture, and whatever the case may be, and just the merit of religion in general. And this is an important thing to help solidify the merit of it, because once you understand the definition of what sin is, it's going to make more sense. Just like when you understand the definition of what religion is, and how it's going to make more sense to uphold such a tenet in life. You know what I'm saying? Upholding the tenet of religion in life is not wrong when you understand the metaphysics of it, the origin and the definition of what that word means. You know what I'm saying? Religion is something everybody practices, period. Everybody practices, even the hypocrites who claim to be against religion. They really need to use their words better and say that they're against the corruption of religion, which I would agree with them about being. I am against the corruption of religion as well. And just stupid religions in general, because you can make a religion about anything. When you get into the definition of what religion is, that shit is completely ambiguous. It's like you can make a religion about anything, literally anything. So the corruption of religion and stupid religions, I'm against. But the concept of religion, I am not against. Okay, I'm not against. It's a basic tenet of existence in life, so long as you have a repetitive tradition of something or about something, okay? Particularly, most notably, concerning a creator, a God, or a force outside yourself, or whatever the case may be, in creating a religion, traditions, and binding rules and codes and things like that, and ethics that pertain to that God. If that religion's going to be about a God, whatever, okay? So that's the essence of what religion is. Go into the etymology of it, get the full breakdown of what religion is, and realize that religion on its own is not wrong, okay? It's not wrong. It's regular. It's regular. Then we get sin, okay? So sin being the word in Hebrew, chata, and it means to miss or make error from the mark or the goal, okay? You could read about the definition of that in the Bible, in 1 John 3 and 4, which is the transgression of the Lord's law, the transgression of Torah. So sin is the transgression of Torah, biblically speaking, okay, concerning the religion of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the Hebrew Israelites, you know, concerning that, sin is the transgression of Torah. So what's the relevance there? The relevance there is that according to the definition of sin in Hebrew, the word chata, it's to miss or make error from the mark or the goal. And what is the mark or what's the goal? That you're going to miss or make an error from it when you commit sin. So every time you commit sin, according to our faith, Hebrew Israelite faith, Abrahamic faith, whatever the case may be, what are you doing when you're committing sin? You're making an error. You're missing a mark. What's the mark? What's the mark that you're missing or making an error from? The goal is to be in alignment and in good favor with the Father, with the Creator. Okay? Which, when you want to get deep about that, we're talking about angelic or so-called alien forces. That's just the deeper end of the shit. Religiously speaking, we just calling it God, okay? The Creator. Him, the Creator, and everything like that. Just for religious speaking wise, okay? Because right now, everybody got to get all super deep with shit now. So everybody needs to go all super deep, needs everything explained to the T, which is something else I'm going to get into this video, about how that's really a trick of the shaitan. or y'all that's thinking like that, it's all deep inside your left brain and shit like that, it's a wrap. Like that's a deep hole downstairs eventually if you don't know how to balance that properly. So that's what sin is. So we're missing the mark. So sin was created sin being official, or when it was being created, right? When we created a law, like right now I can create a law about anything. You know, don't do this, don't do that. Come into my house, whatever the case may be, don't take your shoes off. Let's make that a law, okay? So that's a law from now on. Come into Johannes' house, me, your bro S, you come into my house, whatever the case may be, take your shoes off. Boom. Let's say I just make that a law. What merits that law? What makes that law official? Why the fuck do you need to respect that law? Excuse my French. Why does somebody need to respect that law? For what? You know what I'm saying? That's a separate question from there being a law, okay? Just get everything logical, right? Since we need everything fed to us that way. So now we have a law. Don't come into the crib without taking your shoes off is one part of it. The next part about it is what merits that to be, what merits my discretion of that law being, what's the word? Important. What makes that even relevant? That I even said that you should even consider following it. Because you ain't gonna get in the crib without doing that. You won't get out. Break the law, won't get out, or whatever the case may be. Just hypothetically speaking, I don't particularly have that rule here, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go. You're not welcome if you don't keep that law. Okay, that's what makes that a merit. I have the authority in that sense. Hypothetically speaking, I have the authority in that sense. So now, when it comes to the sin, scripturally speaking, the merit of what makes that sin important or relevant is the fact that it was ordained, certified by the Creator. Now, this is where it gets tricky. How do you prove that? This has something partially to do with belief, because at the end of the day, what happened was you had the dude that created the law, the vessel that I guess you could say downloaded the creation of the law, Moses, and the Hebrew Israelite version of it, so to speak, because some people like to say he got that from the Egypt. Well, I'm not going there right now. I'm not going there right now. It's not true. It's not entirely true at all. It's out of context how they say that. But the point of the matter is, for this particular video, Moses created the law. So he created those so-called rules. He created a rule to say don't come into the crib without getting your shoes off, without taking your shoes off. All right? How was that ordained? How was that made official? How was that made relevant? You know what I'm saying? One, because, most notably because, if you know, Moses was respected. He was respected. Why was he respected? Because people believed, and this is why I said it has something to do partially with belief. People believed that there was a force, a higher force, a supernatural force that was behind that man and his words and his actions. Okay, and his actions. They believed that. They believed that. That force showed itself. According to the belief, that force showed itself unto them through Moses. So therefore, everything that he said, whether you want to just say he just decided to go in a fucking cave in a corner somewhere and just write down some laws and tell people, hey, you need to keep the law. Oh, fuck, who gives a shit about Moses saying that? Who cares? Who cares is the people who seen that when that man spoke, things happen. Supernatural things happen upon his words. Okay? That's what made it relevant. That's what made that law relevant right there. Without getting too much further into it, because I still want to I still got a point to get out in this video. That's what made it relevant. Is what accompanied his reputation, his words, his actions. What accompanied that was some supernatural activity. Okay, that was unexplainable. Okay, unexplainable, but it was right on time of what he said and what he did. Let's just leave that there for right now. Like I said, this has something to do partially with belief. Something that have to do partially with belief, which is another thing. Remember, we talked about sin, we talked about religion, and now we're talking about belief. All these things, these freaking antichrists, these satanic, low-conscious community members try to make these things seem like it's of the devil, when it's really the reverse. These things is part of existence for the humans. To have belief and faith in something, no matter what that is, that's a separate question. But to have belief and faith in something is essential to just existing on this planet as a so-called human. To have a religion is essential, unless you're just living like a wild fucking, creature. You got to have some type of regimen to what you're doing, some type of order, some type of consistency, some type of tradition. This all falls in line with the definition of religion. And then the concept of sin is this associated with that. Sin and religion is associated with that. Just the rules and the so-called codes of conduct, the principles, the morals outlined that associate with that religion. Boom. All those three things, sin, religion, and belief, are connected. Biblically speaking, they're connected. All right. So, and this is something I've been brought out. This is like old shit on this channel. I mean, not this channel. If I upload this to YouTube, which I probably will, I'm referring to my Instagram channel. Okay, Yohanan House of M and Yohanan House of Mem. So that's that. Okay, so now the definition of vibration. Let's speed this along because I got most of my point out, and I just want to read. I want to read a chapter, and that's pretty much it. I want to read a chapter, and I want to mention something about these Edomites. Vibration. Definition of vibration. A person's. This is from, I believe this is Oxford, if I'm not mistaken. This is Oxford's language dictionary. So vibration, according to them, according to that definition, is a person's emotional state. Or this is in informal definition, not based upon physics or science. So that it might be slightly different from there. But just informally speaking, it's a person's emotional state, the atmosphere of a place, or the associations of an object. Okay. In other words, it's a resonation. It's a resonation with a thing or an idea, thought of a thing. It's resonating with something. So when you're vibrating, you're resonating with something. Vibrating low, vibrating high. Okay. Now I brought this up because a lot of people like to talk about vibration, especially the low conscious community. Oh yeah, everybody got to vibe high and vibe high. I've said it before. I just know what I'm saying when I say it. Low vibrational activity. Let's give you some examples of low vibrational activity so we can show you how silly they sound, okay? And their points, their antichrist rhetoric. Low vibrational activity is sexual intercourse, okay? Eating food, okay? For another example, so we got sexual intercourse, we got eating food, fighting, you know what I'm saying? Fighting, you know what I'm saying? And when I say fighting, I don't just mean just regular, you just scrapping with somebody. I mean, you get into something, you got to defend yourself, and you actually fought somebody. Physical altercation, low vibrational activity. Existing on this planet is a low vibrational activity, okay? Just to give you the examples of what's going on when people talk about low vibrational activity. I want you to understand that because they're taking that shit too far out of context. It's like, you can't exist on this planet without having some form of low vibrational activity as a part of your makeup. The key is not to think that way, not to have your entire spiritual essence consumed with low vibrational thinking and status. You don't want your mind to be in that vibration. But physically speaking, you have to, in order to exist on this planet, you have to engage in some form of low vibrational activity in order to physically exist in a vessel of a human or a creature on this planet. That's it. That's my whole point behind that. So vibing high is just referring to high vibrational activities and thought processes that associate with the divine, or what you believe is the divine. Okay, so that's that. I bring that up because, like I said, people always talking about what's so-called low vibrational activity, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And, you make a baby on this planet. You have engaged with low vibrational activity in order to bring forth life. Okay, you ate some food or whatever the case may be. And after you ate some food, you farted or whatever the case may be and took a dump. You have engaged with low vibrational activity in order to nourish your vessel. With you know what I'm saying? Your B vitamins and shit like that. And then what else? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just existing on this planet, period, is a low vibrational activity, because the divine is the divine, supernatural, outside of Earth atmosphere, space, cosmic, and we're here on Earth. The key is to balance, okay? To balance. And mentally, spiritually speaking, to resonate with the divine while you're in your physical vessel. Take that in note when you hear these low conscious community members talking about what's low vibration and high vibrational. Okay, that's the reason why I brought that up. Okay, and also too, because that's associated with what is so-called sin, and you know, that's the concept of what sin is based upon. So for example, sin or sin with low vibrational activity for us, like Israelites and people of, you know, faith, Abrahamic faith, you know, which includes Islam, depending on, you know, who we're talking about, which member of so-called, you know, Muslim, whatever the case may be, they will be considered Abrahamic religion as well. But the point of what I'm trying to say is, if we use the word low vibrational activity within our context of understanding that, it would coincide with what sin is, because we wouldn't be so stupid to just say that low vibrational activity is existing on this planet. Okay, it is particularly how you exist on this planet. How low of a vibration, how low can you go, so to speak? Okay, so now instead of just, okay, sexual intercourse is low vibrational activity, it's you having sexual intercourse with a sheep or a donkey, you know what I'm saying, or a horse, or your sister and your mother, or you know what I'm saying, or a male of your family and not or outside your family. This is low vibrational activity. Okay, you're breaking those rules. You're missing the mark. This is shit that would be against the divine. This is shit that'll bring us more into your carnal, creature-like state. Go back to the definition of zodiac, circle of animals. These are things that'll bring you more into your animal state of being and less into your divine state of being. This is why we have these rules. Okay, Abrahamic religion speaking wise. All right, so now what else was I getting at? So yeah, so that's what the concept of good and bad is about. Okay, so the concept of good and bad is based upon sin. What's missing the mark? This is very important. Then I'm gonna read the chapter and I'm gonna say my last point. So now, good and bad is associated with sin, missing the mark. The mark being finding the Most High, resonating and aligning yourself with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Putting yourself in his good graces, in his pleasure, or whatever the case may be. Okay, being accepted of him. So now, everything that you do in life that is closer to accomplishing that would be considered good. Everything that you do in life that is further from that and disconnects you from that and from him would be considered bad. That's the essence of it, based upon scripture, based upon the Abrahamic faith, religion, history, and literature associated with that religion and that faith and the people associated with that faith. Boom. Remember that. It's very important. It's very important because we're getting to a time, we've been in that time now, but these antichrist Luciferian demons out here want to flip the script on everything. The scripture talks about them I forget the wording, but esteeming the pot is clay, how they turn everything upside down. Okay, they turn everything upside down. What is good is considered bad, what's bad is considered good. They turn everything up. You know, everything is ambiguous. Everything is ambiguous, okay, based upon a law of relativity or whatever, the universal law of relativity. So they use that in that respect, in that knowledge, which is Luciferian knowledge, going back to the garden of what, you know, the tree was about and all that. They can confuse the shit out of everything. Now everything's all mixed about. We just starting from clean, and they get to be the ones that, you know, whatever. I made a whole big video about that, explaining that way better than I'm doing now. But anyway, so that's that, good and bad. Okay, so I said to make sure you note that, because we're getting to a time where these people are, and we have been in that time where these people are able to pretty much deter you from your faith by asking you a simple question like, yo, who gets to decide what's good or bad? Who gets to decide that? And I'm just explaining to you right now where that concept, because remember, with all that get understanding. I think I'm gonna read that. I think that's Is that here? Yes, it is. Let me read that real quick. Proverbs 4 and chapter 7. Very good timing. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Okay, so we're not just religious zombies and zealots for no reason. We actually need to get to a point, and I say we, meaning including myself, but I've been on this type of time. We need to get to a point where we understanding why we co-sign with this religion, why we co-sign with this faith, why we seek to keep these laws to the best of our ability, or whatever the case may be, in order to align ourselves with the divine and the creator and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? We getting an understanding of why. We're not just doing it because somebody told us to. That, you know what I'm saying? They want you to think that, and for some, and it is true for some of y'all, unfortunately, but that's not us. And when you come on this profile, when you come to my profile, Johan in House of M, Johan in House of Mem, when you come on my YouTube, whatever the case may be, you're going to get insight, be it the Most High's will, Adonai or Ba, you're going to get insight as to how to make sense of what you believe in. So you're not just cracking open a book and spitting out scriptures and quoting Bible verses to people and having no understanding about why that matters, or why you need to be preaching this faith to people or sharing your faith with people. You're not just being a parrot, okay? Like the modern day Blackwater Mockers is a Shalom badge. You're not just being a parrot. You know what you're doing. You know why you're saying this. You know why you believe this, okay? This is where we need to get at. It's going to help defend your faith from the spiritual demons, the shaitani. Is going to help defend your faith from that, because you're using logic, mathematics, and science against you. Okay, these Luciferian demons, they're using that against you. And it's going to work. It's going to work only because you're physically here. The more you tap in with the Most High, the less of effect that's going to have on you. Okay? The less of effect that's going to have on you. That's why this lesson is called Why I Failed Math Class. And hopefully, I'm going to get to my point now. So, yeah, let me read. Should I want to read first or get to? No, let me get to this. Let me just say this point, and then I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna read it, and that's it. And I'm gonna end the video. I am already out 32 minutes. God damn, it's a long video. So now, what I wanted to say was this: the Edomites have induced and corrupted the planet with sin, because in order to effectively conquer, colonize, and control an inherently spiritual people, they need to be able to mathematically calculate, scientifically anticipate, and left brain logically perceive every aspect of your existence on the planet. I'm going to read that one more time. This is the main crux of the video. The Edomites, the wicked in general, particularly I'm talking about the Edomites, because according to Job 9 and 24, we're in a time where they actually have the power. They're in the power seat, so to speak. Shout out to the great Millstone elders. I hear that from them. That's something that they usually say. The power seat. They're in a position of power and influence on this earth as a race, okay, and have been for some time. The Edomites have induced and corrupted the planet with sin, because in order to effectively conquer, colonize, and control an inherently spiritual people, they need to be able to mathematically calculate, scientifically anticipate, and left brain logically perceive every aspect of your existence on the planet. They need to make you low vibrational. They need to have you completely physically here. They need your spiritual connection to be disconnected. So now you are susceptible to all the measures that they can take to colonize you, control you, conquer you. Okay? That's it. That's it. I don't know how much better I can articulate that. Put it in your own words. I strongly advise you to, implore you to, encourage you to, rather. I encourage you to go put it in your own words. However you're going to get it, you need to get it, because this is where we at. This is where we've been at. We're going to talk 6,000 years. Okay, if you want to go back into the history of the scriptures, going back into the Garden of Eden. 6,000 years, this has been the plan of the Shaitan. Okay? For that, since then. So we're only at a point, we're at a climactic point of that right now. This is where you get these antichrist, atheist type rhetoric that's spreading upon this earth like a disease. This is where it comes from. Okay? Because they know that in order to get what they got to get, which is control through the vessels that they get to inhabit, because those vessels were weak and low vibrational, they are getting this done on this planet. Okay? They're spreading low vibrational activity and thought process all over the planet. Okay? It's big Funko land. Everybody have fun. Forget the law. Fuck the Bible. Oh, ain't no such thing as Christ. La, 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 la. All this shit has a detrimental ending to it. Okay? And that ending is you being disconnected from the Most High, disconnected from the divine, physically here, and therefore physically susceptible to all manner of attacks that they are equipped to attack you with. This is why they always on that nerdy shit. All that mathematical super science rhetoric shit that these Edomites be on, and Negroes is on right now too. This nerdy type shit that they on, which I am too. I'm not gonna lie, I'm on that shit too. I'm just more balanced with it, and I understand what it's about, at least at this point in my life. We get that from them. We've always been a spiritual people, but now all of a sudden we gotta be all super logical and scientific and mathematical with shit. Hence the name of this lesson, the name of this video, why I failed math class.